Well, hello YouTube and welcome back to the Daily Life. I'm not sure why I'm laughing right now. I guess it's because I'm so busy, but I'm still taping this show. This is the same day taping. It is actually Thursday, November the 7th, 2013. Sometimes I tape on different days than these go to air, if you want to say that. But anyway, I just want to start before I get into my topic, which today is restaurants, about addressing a viewer's complaint. It's the first complaint I've had from this show. One of my viewers said to me that my show yesterday was not topical. Um, I'm just laughing because I guess I'll inform all of you out there in the vast reaches of the internet. These shows are not designed to be topical. If I start like yesterday was on bars. If I started on bars and I ended on bars, that's pretty good. Anywhere in between, I take it anywhere. So, not designed to be topical. They're designed to be entertainment. But I'm going to try to start talking now about restaurants. I love going to restaurants. Restaurants are places where you can actually get a good meal instead of the crappy cooking that we all do at home. If you think you're a good cook, I'm sorry to inform you, it's not as good as a restaurant. Those people are professional cooks. I mean, that's all they do for a living. Seriously, it's all they do. And they're better than me, they're better than you. Everybody who cooks at home. Everybody. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but that's the way it is. Restaurants, they have more time, and you pay well for it. It's expensive. But still, people like to do it. It's one of the primary methods of social interaction in our society today. It's a pretty good sentence, wasn't it? No. Now, there's some things that are odd about restaurants. Tipping. Where did our society ever get this idea? The idea basically is that let's not advertise the full price of the meal, and let's not pay our waitresses their full hourly wage. Where I live, there's a law that says that the restaurants don't have to pay their waitresses. Waitress is not the politically correct term anymore. It's servers, but I'm kind of old-fashioned. Sorry if there's any male. They would be called waiters, but I should refer them to as servers. You don't get paid as much as everybody else because you work on tips. Now, tips are an extremely, it's not a good way to earn income, in my opinion, because you don't know how, like, you get a bad tipper, or if it's quiet that night, you're SOL. You don't make any money. You just make like the $7 or $8 or whatever it is that in your jurisdiction. I don't know. I suppose $7 or $8 in my jurisdiction that they pay waitresses, servers. So that's an issue. I think that restaurants ought to pay the full cost, and I think that people ought not to tip. Because people tip on the flimsiest of things. I personally, I'm not going to lie, and I'm sure that there's many guys that will back me up on this, I base my tips sometimes not on the quality of service received, but on the appearance of the waitress. Now, this leads to a whole Pandora's box of issues. First of all, it leads to restaurants not wanting to hire unattractive people, which is, there's got to be some kind of equality discrimination that you're doing there when you know, look at Hooters. The whole thing is based around women's breasts. You don't have big breasts, you can't get hired at Hooters. That is a discriminatory hiring policy, in my opinion. It's a problem. And restaurants, and everybody does it. I mean, I guess not everybody does it, but I do it, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that do it. And conversely, I'm sure that women do it too. There's a male server, I'm sorry. If there's a male server who is good looking, you know, and a woman is there, they'll probably get a higher tip. It's not set in stone, but it's probable. Another thing I want to say about restaurant bathrooms. Why in God's name do you put the bathroom in the basement at some restaurants? It's impossible to find. Like, there's signs like go this way, and now there's go down the stairs, and it's like by the time you figure out the damn maze, you don't have to go to the bathroom anymore. It's ridiculous. Like, put the restrooms in the restaurant on the same level as everything else in the restaurant. Now, granted, that's usually only older style restaurants. Most restaurants today have kind of come up with the times and figured out that people don't want to go through a maze to get to the bathroom at their restaurant. That's just true. It really is. Other things about restaurants. I love the restaurants that you can have, like, where I live. There's a restaurant called, oh, I'm blanking on the name, Krabby Joe's. Anybody who lives or is from my town or knows about this, it's a, actually, no, I think it's a chain. Yeah, Krabby Joe's is a chain. It's not one of the big chains, but it's a chain. And they have pool tables and video games, which is friggin' great because you can, instead of just sitting there doing nothing, I guess if you're on a date it wouldn't matter, but if you're just there with your family and say you got small children or whatever, you can go shoot some pool or play some, you know, Pac-Man. I don't know. It's just an example. Arcade games while you're waiting for your meal. So if you got little children, I mean, it's great. Kids eat free night. I mean, there's another brilliant idea that the restaurant industry came up with. Hey, let's try to get more families out on weeknights. Well, if you don't have to pay for your children, guess what? You're going to probably come out more. They turned date night from like 20-somethings into family night for 30-somethings. Blow a kiss to the restaurant industry there because that was a brilliant idea. Don't know who thought that up, but yeah, that was a good idea. Now, this is plugging along pretty good. I appear to have a lot to say on restaurants because I haven't gone off topic yet. So the viewer that complained to me about being topical, you want to watch this episode and realize that I'm being topical right now. And there was, oh yeah, I love the restaurants that have payphones. There's a restaurant where I'm from. Anybody who's from my city, I realize this is going to be kind of a local show, but there's a restaurant called Kelsey's in the city where I live. Again, this is a relatively minor chain. I don't know. Yeah, it's a chain. There's other Kelsey's, but and it has this great little thing where there's a payphone booth in the restaurant, but it's enclosed. It's like, and you go in and you can't hear. You're like shut off from the rest of the restaurant. Like it's a little booth, an actual booth, a room, like a soundproof room, and you can make phone calls. And I've done this before. This is before these things came along. You didn't see what that was. It's a cell phone. But I used to use that, and it's great. And I just think that little niceties like that should continue in restaurants. They should. I'm less of a fan of restaurants with bars in them because then you get the rowdy, like drunken sports Friday night crowd while you're trying to go on a date with this girl you just met. And that's not as pleasant. Every time your home team scores, you can place goes nuts. And you're in the dining room trying to be like, the frig are those people doing in the bar? Like, I'm trying to have a date with this girl and I can't hear where she works or anything like that. So it sucks. It's a hard life dating in restaurants with bars. That's about all I got to say about that. Restaurants are still the #1 place for dates. They really are. You ask a girl what she wants to do on a date, you're probably going to get an answer saying dinner date. Let's go on a dinner date. Because it's a great place. You're at a restaurant, it's quiet, you get served, you don't have to cook, and you can just focus on talking, getting to know the girl or guy. I'm a guy. Guys usually pay for the dinner date. I'm a big proponent of, at least on the first date, the man paying. I think it's the right thing to do. Not a big fan of going Dutch on the first date. At restaurants, I like to pay on the first date. After that, it's nice to be offered, and I'll accept if I'm in a good mood. I may pay myself, but the first date, I will insist that I pay. That's a turn off for some girls, but I just insist that I pay. Should probably do a talk on dating. I seem to talk about it a lot. It's kind of a big issue in my life right now, but that's just me. I don't want to get into my personal life on the internet. Maybe that will be tomorrow's talk on dating. I think that's a good idea. I had a topic, but it was too controversial, and I didn't really have an idea for tomorrow, so dating will be tomorrow's talk. I do hope you enjoyed this talk on restaurants. And I will see everyone tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Oh, I'm still taping.